Hey guys, anxiety and fear, imposter syndrome, the thing that gets in the way of being an online entrepreneur and trying to sell your stuff to the world to help the people you can help, causes procrastination and perfectionism, all those inner blocks, the inner mindset stuff. Most entrepreneurs now know that that's the key. That's the key. You got to solve that stuff that's between your two ears, the stuff that holds you back. And the thing is, using anxiety hacks and trying to think differently and trying to use affirmations and motivational videos and trainings and just using courage and willpower, that can work. That can work a little bit. The thing is, you got to keep doing it, and it's such a struggle. And if I can get you to understand one aspect of healing, it can make a big difference in how you solve this problem for yourself once and for all. My name is Ralph Havens, and I've been helping people heal for 36 years. Chronic illnesses, chronic conditions, chronic pains, and anxieties and depressions. For the past 3 years, I've been helping entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, agency owners, other healers and coaches to solve the anxiety and the imposter syndrome so they can sell their gifts to the world, so they can bring their gifts to the world and do what they're here to do. And in order to tell you this big idea, I come from the world of healing, not from coaching. I've got a way to actually heal this. And to start with, we need to talk just a little bit about quantum physics, just a little bit. So is that okay with you? The thing with healing is there's something called phase shifting. Now, what that means is there's a reality, an actual reality where you already have what you want, where you don't have the anxiety, you don't have the fears, you don't have the imposter syndrome, and you're selling your stuff and you're doing good in the world. There's a way to literally change the channel, like change the URL. Now, it's kind of like iPhones and Wi-Fi and movies and URLs. Wherever you are in the world right now, your iPhone can grab the same movies mine can, and they're everywhere. All the movies are right around me right here, and they're all around you, and they're all around whether you're in Australia or Europe or Hawaii or the US or Europe. They're all right there. And if you type in the right code, you can access a certain kind of movie. Now, your reality is kind of like that too. The scientists have said that electrons, the stuff that's spinning around the atoms, the electrons are all in what's called superposition. And what that means is they're everywhere, and they're also nowhere. Now that sounds really weird, but that's what the quantum physics, the math says. And when somebody looks to see where the electron is, that's when it shows up. So it's kind of like when you look, it shows up. It's kind of like when you type in the URL, then you get the movie. So reality can be thought of as like that, and you can literally phase shift from one reality to another. Now, when I first found this, it was with someone named Wanda, and she's on our success stories. You can find her. And she came to me after I had learned how to do this phase shifting. I learned it from a few different people. One person in particular, Richard Bartlett, I want to give credit to, Matrix Energetics. And she came into my clinic, and she was a new time client. I saw her in person years ago in San Diego. And she had anxiety, depression, environmental sensitivities, chemical sensitivities, and chronic pain. And she was just starting to do some art. And so I did this technique, this process, this thing called a Matrix Energetics 2-point. And it literally phase shifted her out of her reality. Now, I didn't tell her what I was doing. I just put one hand on her, put another hand on her, and did this thing. She looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And I told her, we were doing some energetic healing. And she spent the rest of the hour doing some very interesting movements in my room, on the treatment table in the room, and it was quite mystical. Now the thing is, you don't have to go through big mystical movements and all sorts of craziness where it looks funny, but in her case, she went through a bunch of movements. And when she was done, she says, "What was that?" And so I told her a little bit more about energetic healing. She saw me a few visits, and then she was gone. So I emailed her a few months later because I was like, "How are you doing?" And she said, "You don't understand. I knew the instant my anxiety and depression went away, I threw away all my supplements." She went to Europe with a little backpack. She didn't have chronic pain, and she started doing her art even more, and she was in art galleries. She literally had changed the URL of her life. She had changed the reality. She had phase shifted. So now you might be thinking, well, okay, Ralph, that sounds interesting, but how could that possibly work for you, right? And so there's somebody that I saw a couple years ago named Vitaly, and you can see his success story. He contacted me because he is doing everything right in his business, e-commerce, and he was following the right mentor, and he was modeling it, and he should have been selling a lot of stuff. And he said, I just feel like there's an energetic block. It's been there for my whole life. And so I saw him, and we did this process, this thing. I call it phase shifting. There's many things you can call it, and basically shifted the reality that he was in. And while he was, I'll post his success story. While he was in the session, his phone was beeping and vibrating and vibrating and vibrating. And he said, you won't believe what that was. And it continued through the night, and the next morning, it was a record number of sales. That same thing happened to Courtney, who reported, like, after her session, that unexpected, very big business opportunities came her way. Very unexpected. And her chronic migraines went away. So it is literally like changing the channel on your life. And so that's what I'm talking about. And there is a way to do that, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. And I'm going to give you a very special secret about this at the end, a little gift, a big gift for you. Now, you might be thinking, well, I've got a lot of stuff going on, Ralph. I've got a terrible past. My family did this collapsed. We've got all sorts of stuff in the way. I've got all sorts of things that are just blocking me. And I want to tell you the story about Bridget. So Bridget is a Facebook ads boss. That's her company. And she literally knows Facebook because she worked at Facebook. She knows the algorithm. And she was stuck at $3,000 a month. And she saw me for one session, in a group session, and she sent me the screenshot. I got the screenshot of the Facebook message back to me. She made $8,000 that day. Energetically, she had already shifted. So she started seeing me one-on-one, and in the first month, she made $22,000. And in the next month, $50,000, and the next month after that, $50,000. Now, of course, results aren't guaranteed. Results are not typical. Your results may vary, all that sort of thing. The thing is, I've seen changes in people's lives when we do this phase shifting, when we shift their reality at a very deep quantum level. And now the interesting thing was, she got some things that I can't tell you about because they were personal, but a lot of her family stuff shifted. Really big stuff, really stuff from that she's wanted her whole life, big heart's desires. So what I'm telling you is, my reality is, you can change your reality. You can literally change your reality. You can change the code, the source code of your life. And that's what we play with this healing. And one of the things that's going on with this whole thing of when your life isn't going the way you want it, whether you have anxiety or fear or procrastination, or it's just not working at the level it should be working, your body is doing things for very good reasons. And there's ways to find what those reasons are and shift it to get you to a different reality. So if this is interesting to you, contact me, ralphhavens.com/gold or ralphhavens.com/crush imposter syndrome. And there'll be a little video of more of an explanation of what this is all about. And if this is something that can be useful, I'll see if it's a good fit to talk with you and go further with this. Now, the extra gift today, what you might do is just notice what you notice. And by that I mean, you just watched a video, and you can notice if you're any different even right now. And I mean that. Walk around a little bit. You can even play this video again and test it again and see what else changes for you simply from watching this session. Are your hips different? Are you walking differently? Are your feet on the ground differently? Do you feel taller, happier? Is something going on? Just kind of check in, and you might think, well, he's just putting thoughts in my head. But, try it again and test it for yourself and see what changes in your world. And if you want to play in this way to clear the blocks, the real energetic blocks, the things in the way of you getting the life you want, to phase shift, then contact me, ralphhavens.com/gold or ralphhavens.com/crush imposter syndrome. And let's get out there and heal yourself and heal the world. Right now, the world needs us. If you're a healer, if you're a coach, if you've got a way to help people, the world needs us. And it's time to show up and heal yourself and heal the world. All right, you guys, from the Pacific Northwest, this is Ralph Havens, and I will talk to you soon. All right.